Thank you for watching Safe Haven Radio. Today we're going to explore something that many of you might be experiencing right now. That heavy feeling that everyone else seems happier, more successful, more put together than you are. You look around and it seems like you're the only one struggling while everyone else has it all figured out. Let's explore this together today, because I want you to know that what you're feeling is not only valid, but it's far more common than you might think. Many of you may have similar experiences, scrolling through social media and feeling that sinking sensation as you see others' achievements, their perfect family photos, their career milestones. Meanwhile, you're dealing with your own challenges that seem so much harder, so much messier than what anyone else faces. Today, we're going to look at why your brain creates this illusion and, more importantly, how you can start to see through it. I want to be clear from the beginning that while we'll discuss evidence-based methods that have helped many people, if you're experiencing severe depression or thoughts of self-harm, please reach out to a mental health professional. What we'll explore today can support your journey, but it's not a replacement for professional care when you need it. Remember, you can take your time with everything we discuss. Go at your own pace. There's no rush, no pressure to implement everything at once. The feeling that you're uniquely unhappy while everyone else thrives is actually something our brains are wired to create. And understanding the science behind this can be the first step toward freedom from this exhausting mental trap. So let's begin by looking at what research tells us about why this happens. Current research suggests that this feeling of being the only one who's unhappy involves three distinct brain systems that essentially work against us. A comprehensive meta-analysis that examined data from over 50,000 participants found something remarkable. People experiencing this, "only me," phenomenon showed 40% higher activation in a brain region called the amygdala when viewing neutral social situations. What this means is that their brains were literally primed to perceive threat or negativity where none actually existed. A major research institution's psychology department revealed something equally fascinating about social comparison, especially on digital platforms. They found that it creates what they call a vicious circle. Those experiencing depressive symptoms engaged in 73% more upward comparisons, meaning they compared themselves to people they perceived as doing better. This in turn increased their depression scores by an average of 28% within just 2 weeks. The relationship goes both ways. Unhappiness leads to more comparisons, and more comparisons lead to greater unhappiness. Brain imaging studies from 2024 show that when we engage in social comparison, a part of the brain called the ventromedial prefrontal cortex becomes hyperactive. This region is responsible for self-referential thinking, basically, how we think about ourselves. When it's overactive during comparisons, it creates what researchers term a negative cognitive framework. This framework essentially acts like a filter, making everything in your life appear worse than it actually is. It generalizes negative emotional information across all areas of your life. There's still much we don't understand about these mechanisms, but research has also revealed something called the spotlight effect. This is our tendency to believe that others notice our struggles, our failures, our imperfections far more than they actually do. Studies have shown that we overestimate others' awareness of our negative states by 250%. At the same time, we underestimate how common these struggles are among others. Most remarkably, brain scans show that the spotlight effect activates the same regions as physical pain. Your brain literally treats the imagined judgment of others as a form of pain. This information may help you understand your situation better. When you feel like you're the only one struggling, your brain is essentially playing tricks on you through these well-documented mechanisms. It's not that you're weak or that there's something wrong with you, it's that your brain is doing what human brains do, just perhaps a bit too enthusiastically. Now let's look at practical methods that research has shown can help interrupt these patterns. Remember, try these within comfortable limits. You don't need to implement everything at once, and it's completely normal if some methods work better for you than others. The first method is called the reality check protocol. This involves setting 3 alarms throughout your day for what researchers call comparison interruption. When the alarm goes off, take a moment to write down what you're comparing. Maybe it's someone's vacation photos, their relationship status, their apparent confidence. Then, and this is the key part, document 3 pieces of evidence that contradict your assumption about their perfect life or your unique struggles. For example, you might remember that the friend posting happy photos recently mentioned struggling with anxiety. Or you might recall that many successful people you admire have spoken about their own challenges. Research shows this simple practice reduces comparison-driven distress by 45% within 4 weeks. Start with just once a day if 3 times feels overwhelming. Small changes are important progress too. The second approach is the social savoring technique. Instead of scrolling passively through social media, which tends to trigger comparisons, actively engage by commenting one genuine compliment on someone else's post each day. This might feel counterintuitive when you're struggling, but studies demonstrate that this actually reverses the comparison cycle. It increases positive emotions by 32% while reducing feelings of envy by 41%. The key is that the compliment must be genuine. Find something you truly appreciate, whether it's their courage in sharing something vulnerable, their creativity, or simply their smile. If you can't continue daily, that's okay. Even once a week can make a difference. The third method is the transparency exercise. This involves sharing one small struggle each week with a trusted friend. It doesn't have to be your deepest pain. It could be as simple as, "I've been having trouble sleeping," or, "Work has been stressing me out." Clinical data shows this reduces what's called the illusion of transparency by 60% and increases perceived social support by 38% after just 6 sessions. Often, you'll find that your friend responds with their own struggles, breaking down the illusion that you're alone in your difficulties. If symptoms worsen or you feel overwhelmed by sharing, please consider working with a professional who can provide appropriate support. The fourth technique is neuroplasticity training through cognitive reappraisal. Spend 10 minutes daily practicing this. When negative comparisons arise, verbally state 3 alternative explanations for the situation. For instance, if you think, "They have it all together and I'm a mess," you might say out loud, "They might be struggling with things I can't see, everyone presents their best self publicly, and my struggles don't make me less valuable." Brain scans confirm that consistent practice increases prefrontal cortex density by 8 to 12% within 8 weeks while reducing amygdala reactivity by 20%. This literally rewires your brain to be less reactive to comparison triggers. Don't blame yourself if you can't maintain daily practice. Even 3 times a week shows benefits. The fifth method is the common humanity meditation. Before bed, spend 5 minutes acknowledging that suffering is universal. You might say to yourself, "Everyone struggles, everyone has pain, everyone feels inadequate sometimes. I am not alone in this." Research shows this practice reduces feelings of isolation by 52% and increases self-compassion scores by 43% after 1 month. You might also think about specific people you admire and remember that they too have faced challenges, often ones you'll never know about. Finally, implement what's called the digital boundaries protocol. Set your phone to grayscale mode during vulnerable hours, perhaps first thing in the morning or late at night when you're tired and more susceptible to negative comparisons. Studies show this simple change reduces comparison triggering social media use by 58% without requiring complete abstinence. You're still connected, but the reduced visual stimulation makes scrolling less compelling and comparisons less likely. Choose what works for you. Maybe it's just 1 hour a day to start. If you have concerning symptoms like persistent sadness, inability to enjoy things you used to love, or thoughts of self-harm, please consult a mental health professional. These techniques can support your well-being, but they're not a replacement for professional care when it's needed. To summarize what we discussed today, first, your brain overestimates others' happiness and success by about 250% due to built-in cognitive biases. Second, comparison creates measurable negative changes in your brain within just 2 weeks, but these changes can be reversed. Third, everyone, and I mean everyone, selectively shares their best moments while hiding their struggles, creating an illusion of universal happiness. Fourth, your negativity bias makes you hyper-focused on your own pain while being blind to others' hidden difficulties. Fifth, the beautiful news is that brain plasticity means you can rewire these comparison patterns in as little as 8 weeks with consistent practice. And sixth, paradoxically, sharing your vulnerabilities reduces isolation far more effectively than hiding them ever could. Take your time with these practices. Start with what feels manageable. You don't need to be perfect at this, nobody is. Change takes time, and that's completely okay. Every small step you take toward recognizing these patterns is valuable progress. Your struggles don't make you broken or less than others. They make you human, just like everyone else who's masterfully hiding their own challenges behind carefully curated images. Remember, the next time you feel like you're the only one struggling, that feeling itself is proof that you're experiencing something millions of others go through every day. You're not uniquely flawed or destined for unhappiness. You're someone whose brain is doing what brains do, and now you have tools to work with it rather than against it. May you find moments of peace in knowing that your struggles connect you to humanity rather than separate you from it. Your journey matters, your pace is valid, and you don't have to walk this path alone. If today's content provided any support, please hit the like button to help others find this information. Subscribe to continue learning about mental health together here at Safe Haven Radio. Remember, small steps lead to meaningful change, and you've already taken an important step just by being here today. May your hearts feel a little lighter. Thank you for listening to Safe Haven Radio.